Hey, Mom, listen, I'm finally going to be able to go to that college, and I was able to pass all my exams and interviews for the college of my dreams. So starting this fall, I'll be able to finally step into that college as a student. That's fantastic to hear. Did you really end up passing all your exams and interviews? I'm so happy to hear all of this from you finally, June. Congratulations. Not only are you going to be able to attend that school now, but you'll even have the chance to become a Harvard alumni. That's so amazing. You really did give it your all there, and this is the reward you're getting for it. Well, I did end up taking after Dad and became a really intelligent woman. I could really say that passing those exams to get into Harvard was a piece of cake for someone with my genes. You have that right. Ever since you began to speak, you've been just like your dad, and you were so smart. Well, now that I've heard the good news from you, we're going to have to prepare a celebration. What do you want to eat for dinner tonight? I'll give it my all to make you whatever kind of dinner you ask for. You don't have to worry about tonight. As a celebration for my passing my final year, Dad is taking me out to eat. Just the two of you? Am I not allowed to come and celebrate with the two of you? You know that you're not allowed to. I mean, all you are is a high school graduate. What? Dad ended up continuing his education doing postgraduate work and even now is working in the labs at the school. And I turned out just like him, having passed the entrance exams into Harvard. Do you really think there's room for a high school graduate between he and I? I'm sorry, but I won't be happy having someone who's never been to college celebrating my graduation. June, what are you talking about right now? I get that you feel on top of the world right now after having passed all your interviews at Harvard, but you still haven't become a student there, right? I understand that you've passed the exams and all that, but you still have to wait until you've graduated high school yourself. So at the moment, you're not even considered a high school graduate, right? Talking like you know anything is really getting on my nerves, especially since you've never gone through any sort of education after high school. You are the number one idiot in this family, so you have no right to be talking to me like you're a distinguished person. Did you just call me an idiot? Hold your horses there, June. Did you really just say that to your own mother? Who do you think it was that allowed you to take those exams for Harvard, as well as allowed you to go study after school in those cram classes? And who has it been that's been here supporting you this whole time through all of it? We all know it's been Dad who's been there supporting me and helping me get through all my classes and exams. He's the one that works in the research department within that university, so it has to be him. He's from a very amazing college himself, as well as has the brains of a scientist, so I know he's been the one. You don't feel that I could have been the one that helped you through all of that? I'm the one that's been working a lot through my career to support both you and your father, June. And I've been the one paying for all the groceries in this house, along with all the bills, totaling around $2,000 a month. Haven't you realized that it's been me paying for all of that? Oh, what are you trying to say then? I'm surprised Dad ever married you when all you are is a high school graduate with little to show for it. I think he was very generous for allowing you to become a part of his family, and maybe that's why you're paying $2,000 a month. What? In other words, you working your butt off to pay the bills does not matter to me because you're just paying Dad back for what he's had to sacrifice by marrying you. And you are a high school graduate, so whatever work you do is probably way too simple and requires no thinking. So compared to what you do for this family, Dad's job is way more difficult and amazing. He's a researcher for a university, so the money he makes must be at least 10 times what you bring in. Excuse me? Listen, June. Have you really thought of me, your mother, like that this whole time? It's not that I've always been thinking that. Rather, it's all just facts. You are the number one idiot in the house and have little to show for after you got out of high school. So I have something to say to a mother like you. And what is it that you'd like to say? I would like for you to get the hell out of this house. I'm about to become a Harvard student in the next few months, and having a high school graduate like you in this house is just embarrassing. So while Dad and I are out celebrating me graduating high school and getting into Harvard, you can stay home packing your things and getting out of here. Huh? So I'm the embarrassing one. And what do you mean, get out of the house? What are you talking about, June? I spoke with Dad about this already, but he says when I start to go to Harvard, things are going to get a bit tougher for me. I'm going to have to start learning a lot of new things, and I'll need the right environment to study in full time. But if there's a huge idiot in the house with me, that environment, which I'm supposed to study in, is going to fall apart. So that's why I'd like for you to get out of this house. This is not the kind of thing I'd like to be hearing from you right now, June. What kind of reasoning is that for you wanting your mother to leave her house? I'm sorry, Mom, but Dad agrees with me 100%. He said in order to help me graduate from Harvard, he's willing to divorce you. What did you just say? Us intelligent folk only do our best when surrounded by others that are just as intelligent as us. But if there's someone of mass stupidity amongst us, then the intelligence in the whole family begins to break down. And Dad does not want me turning into an idiot like you. What? Has your father really said things like that about me? Has he really gone and called me an idiot like that? He has. That's why you need to hurry up and get out of this house. There's no need for a mother in this house that is less intelligent than her own daughter. Having a parent that's ever only graduated from high school is super embarrassing. Are you really okay with that? I have Dad here to support me, so I'm totally okay with you going. Even without my stupid mother here in this house, I still have an admirable father that'll make sure to meet all my needs. We won't even ask you to pay for my college or for me to be fed or dressed in this house, so get lost already. Well then, I'll take you up on that wish of yours and leave this house. I'll fill out the divorce papers before I leave, so all Dad has to do is sign them.
Thank you so much for filling out and leaving the divorce paperwork here for me yesterday. Just a second ago, I handed them all into the city office.
Well, that's a wrap then. From now on, you and I are divorced.
That's right, and we have no more use for you. I'll make sure to raise June properly from now on, so you won't have to worry about what's happening with her.
But will you be able to manage that? Up until now, you forced me to do everything around that house, as well as raise her while you've stayed out. And without me, there would be nobody there to pay for the house and your guys' food, so how do you plan to carry on now?
Huh?
Well, I'm telling the truth, right? I do think it's pretty great that you're working in that lab at the university in town doing research. But even if you're working there with a master's degree in your field, you aren't making nearly that much. And when it comes to what you are making, you're putting most of that back into your research, right? That's the whole reason why you've had me be the one to use my earnings up to support the household. If it wasn't for all the extra work I've put in, I'd never have any savings to work with right now.
Well, don't worry about that because there's been a major change for me as well. I have just been contacted by a company overseas that is willing to hire me to go work for them.
What? You got an offer from an overseas company to go out and work for them? That right there is an absolutely amazing thing for you, right?
With where I'll be going, it's expected that I'll be making around $500,000 a year doing my research for them. And depending on the outcome of my research, I can expect to be getting close to $1 million in bonuses.
You'll be able to make that kind of money?
That's what you can expect from an overseas company willing to hire an American to go work for them. Unlike the universities and companies here, they are willing to pay a pretty penny for an American researcher with my background. I'll be able to continue the work I love while making massive amounts of money per year.
I see. You asked for a divorce because you've been offered such a great job promising lots of money. I was only ever useful to you because I was able to pay for whatever you couldn't afford, which was mostly everything.
Right now, I'm considered a top researcher in my field who is about to go global. And I should not have to continue to be married to a high school graduate like you any longer. You would only bring shame to my image. When I'm overseas, I'm going to be invited to all sorts of dinners with other elite people. And I can't be bringing a woman like you along with me.
So even you like to call me an embarrassment, huh? Not even a single thanks has come out of your mouth after all I've given for you and June. Instead, constantly looking down on me for never graduating from any higher level of education.
Man, I cannot believe I came out on top being offered to work for such an elite company. And not just by any elite company, but a company called Greenberg that specializes in all kinds of technology.
Greenberg?
Oh? Even a high school graduate like you knows the name of this company. Thanks to the research I'll be able to do for their company, the stock prices are bound to go up for the company. I'd recommend buying all you can of this company's stock so that you will also have some money in the future.
Hold on a second. Isn't this all a bit strange to you? I've read about how that company is no longer planning to work with researchers from your department anymore.
Huh? They don't?
As your wife, I've always kept up on the news regarding your job and companies relating to it. And I think I read about this on one of the foreign news web pages. From what I read regarding Greenberg, they're starting to slow down any research that has to do with what you specialize in.
No way a high school graduate that's ever been to college could actually understand foreign news well enough to get that from it. I think you have a big misunderstanding is all. Why would a company like Greenberg be asking me to work for them if they don't plan to do any research in my field of expertise?
I wouldn't be so sure about that, Jeremy. These days, you can use translating apps to translate all sorts of web pages so that you can fully understand them. I think before you take their offer, you should look into their company a bit more. And maybe take one more look at the offer they sent you as well.
Shut up already. I'm not going to listen to the woman I just divorced talk about my work like she knows a dang thing about it. I'm sure you're just trying to get me to reject the offer now because I'll be making a whole lot of money with it. Well, no matter how hard you try, I'm not going to turn that company down.
Really? I'm not saying all of this because you have a chance to make a lot of money.
Well, you can stop with all this mundane crap that you keep spewing at me now, right? I'm going to accept this generous offer and then go work for a company that's willing to pay me properly for my work. I will no longer need your help anymore either, Sally.
I even tried to warn you about all of this, but I don't know how else to help you now. You run along and don't worry about your ex-wife anymore and go do whatever pleases you. But if you come to regret your decision later on, don't come crawling back to me crying.
You think I'll come crawling back to you? You are nothing more than a brainless woman who offers no further use to my family. You're the one that better stay away from us when you come to regret never ever getting a proper education.
Now that I think about it, I'd like you to start sending me money again and paying for me to go to Harvard. By the end of this week, I'd like you to put around $10,000 into Dad's bank account for me. Shouldn't that dad of yours, that you brag about so much, be able to pay for you to stay in school? He should be able to, but so far, he's still not been paid by the company he's working for at the moment. Seems he accidentally signed that contract, not realizing that he'd only get paid at the end of each year working in that company. He'll be making $500,000 by the end of the year, but for right now, he doesn't have the money to pay for me. What? He only gets paid once a year? Apparently, the company he works for now doesn't pay the same way companies in the US do. But unfortunately, that's not a good enough reason for Harvard, and they want me to pay for schooling by the end of this month. So for the time being, I'll have you pay for me to go to school. We'll make sure to pay you back later on after Dad gets his money. I can't believe this. I thought even Jeremy would have been able to see past that offer he was given. I suppose that he hasn't told you the truth yet about his work then? Huh? The truth? Well, it's not just him though, but you as well, June. You and your dad both fell for that crap even though you both claimed to be so intelligent. When really the two of you are straight up clowns. Huh? Who the hell are you calling a clown? And what are you talking about with Dad not seeing past that offer? I'm talking about how your dad, that you brag so much about, is a massive idiot. Right now, he's not working for a company overseas. And that's why he'll not be getting an income of $500,000. Which means you both can expect nothing by the end of the year. Huh? Really, he's been played as a fool with that offer. And this whole thing about him getting any sort of money at the end of the year is a lie he's made up to fool you too. And another thing, no matter what kind of situation you end up in down the road, I'm not planning on paying for you to go to school. Now go off and talk with your dad about his current situation and make sure to pay your school by whatever deadline they've given you. Wait a moment. What do you mean Dad isn't working for a company overseas right now? There's no way he'd turn down an offer like that promising huge amounts of money. To tell you the truth, there never was an offer like that, June. Just as I had thought, your dad has been played a fool by some kind of random email. Huh? What do you mean random email? I'm sure that your dad did happen to get an email from an overseas company with some kind of offer in it. But I think the company that sent him that offer made a mistake and sent it to the wrong person who ended up being your dad. They had another researcher in mind, but ended up sending the offer to your dad by mistake. What? I know about all of this because I'd been the wife of your dad for so many years. I kept my eyes and ears open in the communities he works in, and that's why I know more than you guys would think about him. If you want evidence as to why that offer wasn't for him, your dad is still in the US, right? He should have been relocated to France had he accepted the offer and been hired. Now that you mention it, Dad is still in the US. But he's always telling me that he's busy getting ready to leave to go to the new company. And there was a day he came home and was packing a lot of his things, so... Wait, could this mean that right now Dad doesn't have a job? Well, you'll have to ask your dad about that if you want an answer. Now, since you know more about the truth, I'll be going. Good luck getting the money you need to stay in school.
You've really done it now, telling June the truth about me. Why have you done this to me?
You're the one to blame for continuing to live a lie like that in front of her. Anyway, what are you going to do about paying for June to stay in school? I hear that she needs $10,000 for this month, but I doubt you have that kind of money just laying around, right? I received pretty much everything that was in our savings in the divorce, so there's got to be nothing in there.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have anything in savings at the moment. And that's why things regarding her schooling and living costs are getting pretty tight, especially since I was fired from my job.
You were fired from your lab?
When I got that email with the offer regarding the job overseas, I jumped on it and turned in my letter of resignation. But right after doing that, I realized that the offer wasn't meant for me. I tried to get the university to throw that resignation letter away, but it was too late for me and they said no. I learned that the university had been planning to get rid of me for a while now, and that was the perfect chance for them.
Oh my, that's a bummer for you then. So then you really are unemployed right now.
Even if I don't have a job right now, I'm a researcher. I'm sure that someday soon, the research that I do will change this world in some way for the better. But it's screwed up that that university and this world don't see how important my work is yet.
That's right. You've sacrificed more than anyone for your research and everything it relates to. And so I'll be waiting for the day that all you've sacrificed is put to good use and changes this world. But you ended up throwing out the one person that funded your research in any way, and I wonder if anyone else will be willing to listen to what you have to say.
Huh?
Your research is important, but you also have to find someone willing to actually fund it for you. But for some reason, you've only ever cared about your research and not about those who put their money into it for you. Always talking about those that don't support you as idiots. And that those that do not understand the importance of your work as inferior. If you keep thinking about those that fund you or consider funding you like that, then you're going to get nowhere with your research.
Huh? How does someone like you know anything about the type of work I do?
I know everything about the work you do, Jeremy. I'm the one that translated a lot of your papers for those overseas to understand, as well as have held relations with different institutions that have been wanting to fund you.
Ugh.
As you sat there doing your research all day and night, you made me handle all the public relations and things regarding business. I even did all of that for you while you continued to call me an idiot for never going any further past high school. Well, you've done it now, Jeremy.
Well, that's...
Well, don't worry, because I'm thankful for what you did. Because of all that work you forced me into, I was able to work from home all the time. I was able to start working for other researchers as well, doing their translations and things like that, and have made off with this work rather well. Right now, I'm making somewhere around $80,000 a year with this kind of work, and I don't even have to leave the house.
What? You're making that much a year from home?
There are a lot of researchers and companies asking for my skills, so I don't have to worry about money. And when I was still married to you, most of what I earned went to supporting you and June. But now, without you both in my life, I'm able to save up lots of money.
What?
I was a bit worried about my life after a divorce with you. But with a yearly income of around $80,000, I'm able to make ends meet.
You're lying, right? All I am is unemployed now. The man who graduated with a master's and is a researcher is currently without any work now. Why should a high school graduate like you be able to make that much?
That's because I worked my hardest to help support your research and the family. I literally sacrificed years of my life in working my job, doing all the chores and raising June just so that you could focus on your research. I even studied financing in my free time to learn how to manage the money better. And because of that, I'm able to do what I do now with a steady income and no worries.
Hey, Sally, what do you think about the two of us getting back together again? Come back here and start funding my research again.
Who the hell would want to fund your research, you dunce? If you're as intelligent as you always bragged about, then you can make up a way to bring in money and fund yourself. I never knew that you brought in that much money every year, Mom. Please, Mom, can you please start paying for me to stay in school for Dad? I'm sorry, but someone who never went anywhere after high school doesn't know how to send money to your dad for him to pay for your schooling. And you shouldn't have to ask for my money anyways, considering I'm so stupid. Please don't say things like that now, just help me. If I don't pay for my semester soon, I'm not going to be able to stay in school and will have to drop out. And then all that work I put into passing those exams will have been for nothing. I won't even be able to get into college anymore, Mom. Well, that just means you'll turn out like me as a high school graduate. Welcome to the life of us stupid people that never chose to move on to a higher education, June. I want to apologize for everything I ever said to you before, Mom. I'm so sorry for treating you like an idiot for so long. It's been all because of the money you brought into the family that Dad and I were able to study what we wanted and go where we pleased, so thank you. I want to keep saying sorry for what I've said, so please forgive me in return. Why should I forgive you? Do you realize just how much you hurt me after what you did to me recently? You were able to get accepted into Harvard after all, so you should be able to understand that, right? But, Mom! Stop asking me for help, and do what you can on your own. You also have your father that you brag so much about there with you. I'm sure two extremely intelligent people like you can make something happen. Now, you both have a good one. After that, I immediately changed both my phone number and email to avoid those two from ever talking to me again. And because of that, I've never had to hear from them again. As from what I've heard through the grapevine, June ended up never being able to pay for her first semester and had to drop out while bawling her eyes out. As of right now, she's been working multiple part-time jobs trying to save up to go to community college in the future. And as for my ex-husband, he ended up finding work as an office worker and spends his days working a job that has nothing to do with his master's degree. And on top of that, he often thinks of himself as better than everyone else because of his past as a researcher. But his boss does his best to put Jeremy right back into his place by yelling at him in front of his coworkers. As for those two's life back at home, they are only able to afford gas station meals as they try to save for their future. But of course, that way of life that they've chosen has nothing to do with me. In my case, I've been able to find a nice apartment where I can spend my days working at home and enjoying the money I bring home. I'm able to keep all the money I earn for myself while enjoying the work that I do, which makes me very thankful for what those two did to me not too long ago.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
For dinner tonight, I'd like you to make me some fried chicken. I have to work as well tomorrow, so make sure not to make it spicy this time. But I do want it to have a little bit of a zing to it, so maybe throw a little bit of lime flavoring into the... So no spice and a lot of lime this time. If I can have myself that zing when I get home from work today, I'll be a very happy husband, Monica.
I'm sorry, Brent, but I've already started working on dinner for tonight, and it's not going to be fried chicken this time.
Huh? Why are you not making what your husband wants to eat? This is a Wednesday, right?
Did we decide that every Wednesday is supposed to be a fried chicken day?
Would you put a little thought into things for me, please? Wednesday happens to be the middle of the week, right? And there is only another 2 days left of work before I'm able to have my weekend. In other words, that means I want to eat something fried. and with a lot of exciting flavor to it. That excitement will then leave me with enough energy to get through Thursday and Friday, and I'll be at the weekend after that. So I need to have that zing to my day today, or else I won't be able to make it through my week.
But last week when it was the middle of the week, you told me you wanted something a little more relaxing so that you could have time to calm down and finish the rest of your week, right?
That was me then and this is me now. Why do you always have to bring up the past when we are in the present now?
What?
Alright? You are my wife. And that means every day you were to look at how I'm feeling before I head into work and decide what to make me based off that. You better start doing that right now.
Hold on a minute, Brent. I'm working a job myself, right? And that means I don't always have time to think about every little detail regarding you and your wants. If you have something you'd like to eat, please tell me a day or two before, or at the very least on the morning of, okay? But even on a day off, I'll most likely to go back to the store after I finish my work and put even more money that we don't really have into groceries.
You can make time to get me what I want. You barely even work enough hours in a day to make any money, so you have all the time in the world to think about me. You're just trying to be a selfish little brat right now. I have to work full-time 40 hours or more a week, and you think you having to work that small job is going to have me listening to you? Forget it. You're better off just leaving that job and staying home all day to get your real job done. Cleaning and cooking.
I'd really love to work full-time though.
If you started to work full-time, then you'd never be home in time to make me my favorite dinners and get the bath ready for me. You are more than okay living off the money I bring in, so there is no need for you to be working at all.
Well, if you don't want me working anymore, could you raise the amount of money I spent on groceries and the house a bit more? To be honest, with the amount you give me right now, it's a little tough to afford everything. Right now, I'm having to use the money I'm making to balance things out so that I can afford all the things we both need.
Are you a freaking idiot or something? That right there is you telling me you're such an idiot that you don't even know how to balance out your checkbook to make ends meet with what I'm giving you.
Why would you say things like that? I have been putting in a lot of work balancing things out with my money and yours. But I can't just give you the food you want 3 hours before dinner without having to go back to the store to spend more money on buying more food. You have to see that with the money I have right now, the best way to spend it well is to only stop at the store once or twice a week and buy everything then.
But by doing that, you're putting good food to waste. None of it is going to be fresh like I want. And as the husband of the house, I only want to be eating the freshest foods. You are really making a fool of yourself here. And with that, dinner today is going to be fried chicken.
And I've just told you a little bit ago that I've already started making something else for dinner, and that there's no changing what's for dinner now.
Well then scrap all that you've started on now and make me that fried chicken instead.
Well, I'm on my way back to my parents' house at the moment anyway, so that's not going to happen.
Huh? You're going to your parents' house?
Yesterday, my mom had a bad fall and ended up breaking her arm while trying to comfort her fall. We talked about this already, right? And because of that, it's been hard for her at home. So right after work today, I already got dinner going in a crock pot for you, and it will be ready by dinner time. So I'm on my way to see my mom for a bit, and I'll be back home later.
You're going there now? The reason I'm allowing you not to have to work a whole lot right now is not to let you go to your parents' house and spoil them.
I am not doing this to spoil them. I'm going there to make sure the chores can get done for my mom.
Let me tell you this right now. If I get home and my dinner isn't ready and the bath isn't hot, things are going to be bad for you.
I plan to be back home by the time you get out of work, alright?
I'm not allowing you to go to your parents' house today. You come back to our house right now and get back to making my dinner properly and finishing up any of the chores you have there. You listen to what I'm saying right now, woman.
What? What do you mean you're not allowing this? I will make sure everything is done properly today, okay? Is it so bad for me to go over and help my mom out a little in the meantime? My mom is living on her own now.
Well, you happen to have an older sister living a lot closer to our house, right?
And this week she's been on vacation with her family because she has time off work.
Then ask someone in their neighborhood to help her.
Someone in her neighborhood? There is nobody living close enough to her out there in the countryside for me to ask to go help her. That's why I'm on my way to her place now. I'm also just worried about how my mom is doing and want to see her with my own eyes.
You are a part of my family now, and you're my wife, which means that my family comes first, and I'm like your king. So that means you will listen to me before anyone else, and will only pay attention to me and my side of the family.
Are you kidding?
If you keep this up, I'm going to do the same thing your dad did to your mom and divorce you.
Excuse me?
If you do not want me divorcing you, then listen to what I'm saying. You don't want to end up like your mom, being thrown away by her husband and left for dead, right? If you still plan on going to her house, I'm going to print out the divorce paper and fill it all out. Now I'm getting back to work. I really hope you can make the right choice and come back home to make me that fried chicken I've asked for.
Mom, how are you feeling? I was able to get those pain medications from the doctor that I asked for. So as of right now, my arm is not hurting one bit and I'm doing fine. And as for today, you are more than welcome to stay at your house, Monica. Are you sure? I was planning on coming there to help you out right now. You broke your dominant arm, so there's no way you'll be alright on your own. But be it as it may, I'm going to be fine. Actually, my younger sister found out about me getting hurt and has to come over to take care of me. Wait, are you talking about Aunt Vanessa? Well, don't call her an aunt like that or she'll get a little upset. She still likes to think of herself as being young and would rather have just called her Vanessa. Anyway, she's going to be here with me for a week. Well, I'm relieved to hear that you have someone there with you then. Actually, when I was talking with Brent about how I'd be coming to your place today, he told me that I'm his wife and that I'm supposed to only care about his needs, and he told me not to go to your house at all. He doesn't want you to come see me? That's a little bit strange for him to say, right? I told him that I've been worried about you and that I wanted to come home and see how you were doing. I'm sorry for getting you all worked up over me. But hearing that Aunt Vanessa will be there with you has made me feel a little bit better about it. She happens to be really good at cooking. Well, she happened to work as a chef at one point in her life. Well, if that's the case, then she knows how to make you all sorts of healthy meals. You happen to also have a lot of things you hate eating, right? Don't say that like I'm a child about it, though. Anyway, Monica, I really don't want to have to ask this, but are things between you and Brent alright? What do you mean by that? Well, we are texting right now, so I'm not sure what kind of face you've been making. But make sure not to overdo things there, okay? If you have something you need to say to him, say it. And if he's going to be rude about something, you don't have to sit around and listen to him about it. And I know that. Times when I've gone over to your guys' house, and times when you've both come over here, I've noticed something. That man never seems to want to do anything, right? It's his own house over there, yet he always has you do everything for him. He tends to act like the dominant husband most of the time. I have not really been around Brent all too much, and so I'm not too sure what is up with him, but men that tend to want to be dominant husband are no good to you. They are very selfish and do not care how they treat you when it comes to benefiting themselves. I happen to have experience of that myself, so don't ignore what I'm saying here. When you were with Dad? Well, that man happened to cheat on me when he was out of the house with other women, and he would rarely ever put any of his money into the house and family, instead using it to go out with them. He told me he could do whatever he wanted with his time and money because he was the man of the house and the pillar that kept it all up. He made me feel as though it was my job as his wife to support him no matter what. That's why you ended up divorcing him, right? I regret it now. I should have done something about him a whole lot sooner than I did. I wasn't ever able to get myself to want a divorce from him, and that's what led you to having to live through more of his crap. And as I was trying to still make up my mind on whether to divorce him or not, he had left the house and joined a new woman. I understand that those were hard times for you, Mom. He didn't even leave us anything, not even a word or guilt for what he has done to us. And ever since that day, he has not said a single thing to us. I don't want something like that happening to you, okay? So make sure you have a plan ready for something like that and make your choice quickly. Believe in what your gut is telling you about Brent. Thank you, Mom. I understand there's not much I can do to help, but if you need anything, please call me. And if you have anything you need me for, call me. But you have Aunt Vanessa with you now, so I'm sure you'll be alright. Just make sure you get lots of rest and have that arm heal up.
Hey, Monica, where are you right now? You have to answer your husband's call before he gets to 3 or else you'll be in trouble, alright?
I'm on my way home now. Did something happen to you?
Huh? You're coming home now? What the hell are you thinking? I'm already at home now.
What? What do you mean you're already at the house? It's only 4 p.m. What the heck happened to you that caused you to be home this early? Did you start to feel sick?
Not really. I was just out on my break at work and was told that I could head home right from there. I guess I had nothing else to get done today at work. So I chose to go home like they said.
You were out on your break when they said that. I thought you told me you didn't really have any breaks there anymore after being moved into the sales department, right?
Well, about that. There's a lot of things going on at the office right now. Now let's talk about dinner.
Once I get home, I'll get right on it.
You freaking slowpoke. I've told you this plenty of times now. I want you home when I'm home from work, and you have to have dinner and a bath ready for me. I'm the one bringing in the money for this house, so the least you can do is feed me and get things ready for me to rewind after my day at the office. Are you trying to tell me you want a divorce?
Why would something like this immediately lead you to wanting to talk about a divorce?
If you don't want to be divorced like your mom was, then you need to stop making me pissed off. All right then. I'm going to get that paperwork right now.
What?
I don't think you're afraid enough of me yet. I think by having the divorce papers in my hands at all times filled out, that'll get you really worked up about things and make you want to act serious about your chores, right?
You have to be joking, right? Divorce is not something you should be using as a way to threaten your wife all the time.
I'm not just threatening you because I will seriously hand them in. I'm ready for it if you are. With you out of the house, I won't be in any trouble unlike you.
You would seriously hand those in. Are you not even thinking about working together with your wife anymore to make this relationship we have last?
You think I will work together with you and continue this relationship? All you are to me is a simple wife. You have no idea how many women there are just like you in this world.
Understood. Only 20 more minutes or so and I'll be at the house.
Then during that 20 minutes, I'm going to stop by the courthouse and get those divorce papers. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing not coming back to the house for 3 whole days? I told you not to worry about your mom anymore, right? I saw you leaving the house with those big bags saying you were dropping them off at your mom's place. But for those past few days, you haven't come back here to do the laundry or cook any food. Are you listening to me? How much longer do you plan on hiding at your mom's? Hurry up and come back here so you can take care of your husband.
Excuse me, but who am I talking to right now?
Huh? Stop with the freaking BS. You know dang well that I'm your husband.
But I'm a single woman now.
What the hell did you just say?
I handed in my divorce papers 3 days ago, and then I became single again.
Divorce papers?
But you and I had both signed them, all right? Well, I took all of those into the courthouse to be processed for us.
Wait a sec. I never heard anything from you about handing in those divorce papers, though.
But you signed them with me, and you said you wanted a divorce, right?
Wait. But you handing those in without my approval is messed up. I only had those signed by the both of us in order to get you to worry more.
But I wanted to divorce you then, and having you go out and get everything set up for me really helped it out.
You wanted a divorce?
Well, when it comes to a married couple, they both have to work together to continue the relationship, right? But you were asking me to do all this work by myself. Get dinner ready for you before you got home from work, and have bath ready for you. And that last time where you came home earlier than normal and still expected things to be made up for you, and that was the last straw. I know you were only coming home early because they were barely paying you anything, right?
Wait, hold on. What do you mean they barely pay me anything?
You always told me you were the one supporting me with all your money, right? But the money I had to use every month for the house and the food primarily came out of my savings. About 70% of my savings would go into that. And what about the other 30? Well, it had to go to the things like Wi-Fi and a TV bill. I was paying more for the house than you were making from your job is what it seemed to me.
Wait, you're lying, right? I was the one paying for all of that, right?
You think that the money you bring in would actually support 2 grown adults living in the house? From what I noticed, you only put $400 into the house and the rest you spent on yourself. And as for all the money I had saved up and was making part-time, it all went right into the house and nowhere else.
But that's absurd.
But I was still your wife at the time, and I told myself something like that was not a cause for divorce. So I made sure to keep living like that, thinking someday things between you and I would get better and you'd start to care more, actually supporting the house. I really thought back then you would actually come around and start helping out again. My parents had to get a divorce and I didn't want as well because I thought that it would really sadden my mom, and that's why I stuck with it for so long with you. I really didn't want my mom to be upset with me, but look where we are now.
If you don't want her to be upset, then take back those divorce papers.
But when I really put some thought into it, my mom is far more sad about me not being happy when I'm around you. That's why I've gone with my gut feeling and chose a path that I won't regret later.
Are you telling me that choice was divorce?
Well, in your case, you don't love me anymore, right? Well, I wanted a new life for myself. One where I can start working full-time again and not have to waste all of my money on a house each month. And I'm sure you wanted me gone as well after threatening me all those times. So see this divorce as a win for both of us, okay? We don't even love one another anymore, so why try and force something that's not there?
Are you sure you're okay with that? You're gonna regret this.
Well, we had been at this for over 2 weeks, getting everything ready for the divorce, right? I already have all my things with me and everything, so you can do what you'd like in that house because I'll never be back.
Well, if you come running back to me wanting to get married again, don't expect a single reply from me. Because I'm not getting back together with you. I don't care how much you regret and apologize for it. I'm not forgiving you. You're going to learn just how unhappy life can be after divorce. I had just come around to liking you as my wife, but now you've gone and ruined it for yourself. And you're really going to regret it. Hey, what does all this mean? What are all these documents talking about?
Ah, you got those already. I had talked with a lawyer about things, and those are the documents you wanted sent to you.
A lawyer?
If you took a good read through them, then you'd probably already know what it is. But they are about the distribution of our properties as well as a settlement I'd like from you.
I can understand things like distribution of our things, but what's this about a settlement? If anything, I'm the one that's been wanting a settlement from you. You gave up your job as my wife.
That's not even something you can sue me or get a settlement from me through, right? I just happened to realize you are an awful person, and that's why I no longer wanted to love you anymore.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about that last straw. Remember the day you came home from office at 4 p.m.? You told me you were on a break and then told to go home because there was no more work for you to do, right?
That's what I told you, right?
Well, I was right to trust my gut like my mom said. Because when you said that to me, I had this feeling you had been cheating on me, and that's what led to the last straw and my love for you leaving me. So I went ahead and looked into the things a little more, and you weren't told to leave work early. You took later half of your day off work. You took the day off work so that you could go out with another woman on a date, right?
You looked into that? How far did you go?
Well, it took me 2 weeks to prepare me for the divorce we both wanted, right? And during that time, you continued to go out with another woman while I was at home preparing. I also happened to run into one of the women you've been with. And she happens to be one of the new employees at your office, right?
So this is what's led you to want a settlement from me?
And I'm hoping to get all that money from you as well as half of your savings in one payment, please. When my dad left my mom, he never left the family anything, not a single penny. So I'm doing as my mom told me. And that's getting every last penny out of you that I can before you have the chance to run away.
Hold on a second. I might have been out with some other women, but it was just for fun, alright?
That's odd, because after I've been gone for the past week or so now, you have one of the girls living in that house with you, right?
What? What do you know about that?
I just happen to have a good friend that lives nearby to the house, and they have been watching you since the day I left. And they said the moment I had left and told you about the divorce, you had another woman in there right away, and have been seen off by her every morning before you go to work, right?
Well, that's...
But the fact that you are both living together already has helped me a ton. I was able to figure out who she was, and now I can get a settlement from the both of you, since she's been with you while you've been still married to me.
This was all just for fun, though, so stop getting so worked up about it. Are you jealous that I have other women around me that I can sleep with or something? If that's the case, I'll let you remarry me. You want to come back home now? I won't use any other woman anymore, and we'll focus more on you again.
Excuse me? Did you say use?
I started to use them for making food for me. And, well, After about 3 days of that, a lot of them, especially my main girl, would want to go out to dinner and stuff instead. And this one that's been living with me now doesn't even know how to cook. She doesn't even do the dishes either. We've had to use paper plates, and when she does laundry, she'll toss my suit in the laundry machine as well.
Wow, that's amazing of her.
She told me she'd been living at her parents' house this whole time, and she never had to do chores. She said her mother taught her all kinds of things about chores. So I really need someone here that can get all that done for me, like you.
Well, what's so bad about the two of you staying together and both learning how to do chores? I don't want to be back with you for any reason, so go ahead and learn how to be an adult.
No, you have to be lonely, right?
No, because I no longer have to deal with a child that complains about wanting to only eat what they want every single day. Right now, I'm able to use my time for myself. I can eat what I want, do what I want, go where I want, all without some jerk yelling in my ear about it. Being single is way better than I remember it.
You're lying, right?
I do not want to marry you again, and I do not regret getting that divorce one bit. As those documents have told you, I want my share of the properties we had, and I want that settlement from you paid in one payment, please. If you can do that for me, then I'll be able to finally cut ties with you completely.
Hold on, okay, Monica? You and I have been married for a little while, right? Why did our marriage turn into something like this?
Can you take a look at all of the messages you've texted me over the past few months and ask me that question again? Maybe even ask some people around you about what you've said to me and see what they think. Now after this, everything is going to be left to my lawyer to handle, so please talk with him at some point this week.
You want me to talk with him now? Why can't I talk with you? Hey, Monica!
Because Brent had literally spent all his money on things like going out with other women and never actually being in a house with me, he had no savings, and therefore had to take out a loan to pay me. And when it came to the woman who had been living in that house with him after I left, she assumed he'd pay for her settlement as well, but he had no plans of doing that for her, and they got into a fight before breaking up, and she had to borrow money as well to pay me. After having lost everything, Brent started going around to people, showing them the messages he sent to me, looking for people to tell him he wasn't in the wrong. But just when he thought people would agree with him, he got the exact opposite response from them, and most, if not all those people left him. Even now, life for him at work has been hell because most of his co-workers won't talk with him, and he's left sitting in his cubicle all day making the bare minimum the company offers him. But he still has a lot of debt to pay off after taking out that loan and a house to pay for, so he has no choice but to continue working there. And I've heard that recently, he's been starting to work more and more overtime in order to try and make extra money for everything.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
Hey, Rosie. It's getting close to your mom's birthday, you know. I would really like this newly released dishwasher that just came out a few weeks ago. I looked it up and it costs around $3,000, but I'm sure you'll still get it for me, right? What? $3,000 for a dishwasher? But I've heard that also costs a little bit to have it installed, so round that up to $5,000, and I'm thinking that's what the total will be. You can just send me that money, actually. I'll be the one to go and buy it. Wait, Mom, $5,000 is a little too much if you ask me. What are you talking about? Your husband Rick is a CEO, so he's got to be making loads of money doing that, right? $5,000 for a present shouldn't be a problem for you at all. If you let him know about this, I'm sure he'll pitch in, considering it's his mother-in-law's birthday of all days. When it comes to men, they'll do anything to make their mother-in-laws happy. But I'm no longer his wife anymore. Rather, his ex-wife now. I'm sorry for never letting you know about this, but just recently Rick and I got a divorce. Huh? You and Rick got a divorce? That's right, just last month actually. So I'm not sure he's going to be joining me in celebrating your birthday this year, especially now that the both of us are trying to finish all the paperwork up from the divorce and are getting ready to start our new lives. I'm sorry, but can we wait a little while before celebrating your birthday this year? Are you kidding me? My birthday only comes once every year and it's very important. Every year so far, you've been taking me to these really upscale restaurants and stuff, right? And along with that, you would always give me the most amazing and expensive presents. There's no way you're gonna skip celebrating my birthday this year. Then how about next year I give you both this year's and next year's presents? Right now, I'm having to get used to living on my own again, and it's costing me a lot of my money to do so. To be frank, $5,000 for a present this year is just not happening. No freaking way! I want to know what the hell you were thinking getting a divorce from Rick. You do not need to start to living on your own again. Just go back to him and make up already. You're a freaking idiot for letting a husband with that much money go. I don't want to get back together with him though, and I had every right to leave that man. Rick has been cheating on me for a long time now. And not just with one woman, but two. He already had a wife and still managed to be going out with 2 other women. No way I'm gonna keep him around. And what's so bad about cheating? What's wrong with him having 2 other women around him? Who cares that he loves other women besides you? It's all about his money. What? If you let a CEO husband like that slip away from you, you'll never be able to live your life of luxury again. And he was willing to send his wife's mother $1,500 a month so that she could be financially safe as well. And now you're telling me you divorced someone who is both nice and loaded because he had other women he loves? You're the most stupid woman I've ever known. Hold on a second, Mom. Your daughter was just cheated on by her husband. Are you neither sad or upset or something like that happening? Why are you getting upset at me for this? Because you're not going to be the one giving me money. I don't give a damn how useless my daughter feels about what happened. Huh? Ugh. Ever since you were a little girl, you've always been causing me and everyone around you so much trouble. Now that you've gotten messed up big time, I'm going to have to do something about this. I'm going to make him take you back again, and you're going to apologize to him for ever thinking that you could divorce him like that. I want you on your hands and knees apologizing to him over getting a divorce over something as common as being cheated on.
Yo, Rosie? Are you really regretting divorcing me that badly already? You were so pissed off at me for having 2 other girlfriends when married to you. It's kind of cute that you'd be crying and wanting me back when it hasn't even been a month yet.
Huh?
Because of that, I think I will let you get back together with me. But that'll only happen as long as you come and apologize to me. I want you to come and say that you're so sorry for getting upset with me for cheating on you. Then I'll let you come back to my side.
I'd rather not come back to you, actually. Don't ever talk to me again, please. Who would ever want to go back to a man whore like you anyways?
What?
Let me guess. My mom got in contact with you and told you all about me. I bet her exact words were that I was regretting ever divorcing you, so please let me remarry you again or something along those lines. That woman always finds the most aggravating ways to get under my skin, stupid woman.
Are you not regretting everything? Are you not crying right now about the fact that you divorced me over me cheating? What about all that stuff she told me about you crying over me all the time? That's what your mum was telling me about you.
And all of that was a lie my mom was telling you. I don't regret a thing about divorcing you, and I have not cried once about you being out of my sight for the past month. If anything, I'm getting pretty upset right now because I once again have to talk to you. You really thought I'd be coming to you crying about how I want to get back together and I'm so sorry for what happened?
You're not going to.
Like I said, who would ever want to get back together with a man whore like you, all right? Don't you even try talking to me like this again, you idiot. If you try this again, I'm going to make sure you never have the means of talking to anyone again. You freaking bitch. It's things like that that made you so darn annoying and forced me to cheat on you. You were just given a chance to finally come back to me by your mum. You're going to regret never taking what your mum and I were going to give you. If you come back crying someday, wanting to be a CEO's wife again, I'm going to ignore you and look at my 2 beautiful women that I still have near me. The only one that's going to regret anything is you, Rick. When you come back crying to me about how you want to have a loving and caring wife like myself back, I'm going to ignore you and continue living the wonderful life I finally have again. What the hell do you think you're doing, you moron? I'd gone through all the trouble to get you Rick back and everything. You're freaking brain dead for letting the one chance you had of getting back together with that man go to waste. Do you have any idea how hard I worked to get Rick to even think about wanting someone like you back in his life? I never asked you to do something like that. Stop doing such stupid crap behind my back, woman. Ugh. Who do you think you are talking back to me like that? I was doing all of that for your sake. Not only have you gone and ruined what I was trying to give you, but you never even said thanks for it. You're the worst daughter this world has ever seen, you bitch. Calling me the worst daughter this world's ever seen just because I'm not doing what you want is just rude. None of what you've been doing has been for my sake. Rather, it's been all for your own. You're starting to freak out now because that $1,500 a month you're getting is no longer happening, right? Excuse me? I'm right on the mark, aren't I? Ever since I was a little girl, you never once cared about what I wanted or needed. The moment you heard I'd gotten married. No, wait, the moment you heard my husband was a CEO, you went to showing me all this love and care that you never once showed me before. That's not true. You were not on the mark at all. Far from it, actually. Then support my decision of getting that divorce. If I'm wrong, then you should be more than happy to see that your daughter is no longer with the man that was cheating on her. You shouldn't be worried about not getting $1,500 a month from him anymore, or not getting any more huge presents, right? Wait, that's what I thought. If you're not supporting your daughter right now with something that makes her happy, then you don't care about her. So I was right on the mark there. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Who the hell cares that you were on the mark there? What's wrong with me caring more about his money than my own daughter? I was trying to be quiet and listen to what you all had to say, but all of it was just bullcrap coming out of your mouth. I've heard enough. I have no use for a daughter that doesn't care as much about money as I do. Are you serious? Listen here, you little crap. For the longest time now, ever since you started to speak, you never listened to me and always talk like a smartass. Just because you're a little smart, you think you can talk like that to your own mother. Even though I was telling you as long as you got married, there was no need to go to college. But you got that scholarship without my permission and went to college anyway. You've always, for as long as I've known you, gone against my word and never ever listened to me. Well, sorry for that. You and I happen to value very different things is all. I get that you think you're always the boss, but I'm not a child anymore, so stop trying to lecture me about it. Ah! I can't stand you talking back to me like that anymore. I'm starting to think that it's just not such a bad idea to throw you away forever. If this is how you're gonna act and treat your own mother, then that's it. I'm disowning you for good. Excuse me? The only reason I've been so kind to you and raised you for all those years is because I was holding in my anger about how much you freaking acted like a jerk. That's why I was getting $1,500 a month from your CEO husband all this time in a way of paying me back for all the hard work that I did. I just wanted to live my life in luxury after so many years of raising a brat. But now you've gone and ruined everything for me by divorcing that rich man, you freaking idiot. I have no use for such a worthless daughter like you now. You have no right saying things like that to your own daughter. I'm not even hurt after hearing all that. I'm just in shock. Complete and utter shock. I've gotten all the use I could out of the lowlife that's been thrown out by her CEO husband. A useless daughter like you is never to come around me again, you hear me? At least now I get to keep my $1,500 every month. Thanks for that. What? You never want me around you again, right? Therefore, we're cutting ties to one another for good. I've been wanting something like this for a long time now myself, so this is perfect. Now I won't have to give up $1,500 a month anymore either. I won't have to give that man any of my money anymore either because now we're both officially divorced. Honestly, it feels like I've been reborn. I'm completely a new person. Oh, wait a second, what the hell are you going on about right now? What it sounded like to me, you're making it seem like you were getting that money from Rick and sending it to me. I wasn't getting anything from Rick, actually. I was the one using my money to support you every month. That $1,500 that I was giving you every month was coming from my paychecks. Rick never gave you a penny. What? Is that so? That first month's $3,000 that I gave you was all from me, Mom, and ever since that day I've continued being the one that gave you all that money. But Rick was telling me how he was the one giving me the money. Back when I asked you to give me a little more every month is when I heard that from him. You had told me clear as day that you wouldn't give me any more than I was already getting, so I went and talked to him out of anger. And that's when he told me that if you weren't going to let me have any more money, that he would. And after he said that, I started to receive more money like I was asking for. Rick really loves to lie his ass off, doesn't he? After he said that to you, he came right to me about it. He told me that he felt bad for you, so he wanted me to send you just a little bit more. I then asked him why he couldn't give you the money himself that you wanted, and his excuse was that he simply couldn't, and that I should be the one to give you more. What? And even after that time, you started to always talk to him when you wanted more money, right? And then he'd always tell you that he's the CEO and that he can get you that extra money you always wanted. But he was never actually the one giving you anything, because he'd always come back to me with the same excuse saying I should give you more because he just couldn't. And guess what? He would always tell me the next day after those talks that if I ever told you the truth, it would embarrass him. And that's why it always looked as though he was the one sending you that money, when it really has been always me. Are you kidding? But Rick is a CEO, right? He runs his own company. He should have tons of money on him, right? So why would he make you be the one to give me that money all the time? Don't tell me he's been stingy jerk this whole time. He can't be stingy because he has no money. He's a definition of a moneyless bastard. The company that Rick is so-called running never does any business, meaning that he makes a whopping $0 every year. Huh? $0 every year? What do you mean? He has a company that he's running, yet he doesn't make any money? How the hell does that work? The thing is, unless he actually has a company, there's no meaning to calling himself a CEO. Normally one would take the company they have and provide a service or sell something, and that's how you make money from the company, right? But this company that Rick thinks he has doesn't do anything. What? He only has the company in order to call himself a CEO and have a business card with this company's name on it. Theoretically, yes, there is a company. However, it's not a real company. He doesn't do anything with it, therefore he makes $0 from it every year. What? But every time he and I would talk, he always told me that the company was doing well. He'd always wear really nice suits, and when we'd meet, he'd just give off that well-off CEO vibe. I bought all those suits for him. He was always whining about how if he had no good clothing to wear, then he'd never be able to get a job. So in order to shut him up, I went out and got him some of the cheapest secondhand suits I could find and gave them to him. Is that so? It wasn't just you that I was having to pay for that whole time, Mom. I was also paying for our place, all of the food, the electric and water bills, his clothing as well as mine, everything. All from my paycheck. Now, if you want to know how I've been able to do all that, it's because I've been doing one hell of a good job at work, and that's why everything just worked with the money I was making. No way. I had thought all this time that Rick was the stand-up guy who ran his own company and made loads of money. But it's not only that he's never had a company, but that this whole time he's had to live off of what you made. When it comes to me, I never once heard about how you were making so much money yourself. Well, you never even asked me about it. You always made it very clear to me, even after getting married to Rick, that you didn't care about what I did for work. Actually, you would always pester me about it, saying that I was married to a rich man and should be quitting my job, right? There was never a time where I could actually tell you about how well I've been doing at work, because anytime I tried, you just hit me with that statement. Hey, Mom, I'd believed in you so much for so long now. I understood when I was younger that we'd always butt heads on things and you never liked the path I'd take, but I was sure that when I got into college, you'd be supportive of me. And I started to believe that once I got myself a good job, you'd be supportive of me. I believed that by sending you money every month, you'd finally be happy and supportive of me. I'd worked this hard all my life believing that one day you'd be proud of me and support me. But that belief that you'll one day be proud of me is gone now. What? I've thought so many times now that I really want to cut ties to you, but you were the one that gave birth to me, and I never wanted to imagine a day that your own daughter would tell you goodbye forever. However, now that you've said you want to disown me just now, I'm so thankful. I can finally be free to live and do the things I want. Rosie, hold on a minute. I might have been taking things too far by saying that I wanted to cut ties to you and everything. Goodbye forever now. I'm going to do something you've asked for me for once, and that's never show my face around you or bother you again. I hope you're happy now.
Please, Rosie, can you please find a way to make your way back to me?
What? Who the hell is this?
You have to know who I am. Now, I want you to calm down and listen to what I have to say. I've finally come around to realizing why you were so important to me.
You've only just realized that now.
I had really believed that things would go well after the divorce. I happened to have 2 other women around me and a man who's been divorced before, and it's kind of awesome, right? And I was thinking that this would be the year I finally started to do something with my company. I was really thinking I could rub all my success in your face later on, but well, before I knew it, I was already $30,000 in debt. At this point, my company is going to go bankrupt.
You're joking. You're finally losing that company.
I'm really shocked by this myself. The moment that we got that divorce, my company started to dive into the red, which is strange because for years now I've been making it work, not having to do anything but just call myself the CEO of the company.
Damn. So you still haven't learned a thing. The reason you were never in the red all those years is because of me. I was doing all the paperwork and paying the bills so that you could keep that company going without you ever bothering to notice. So it makes total sense why you would be in the red now after I left. I'm going to assume that your company going into debt had nothing to do with the company itself though, right? You still carry the company credit card on you with a limit of $40,000 on it, right? Have you been using that card to buy groceries and things like that ever since the divorce?
Wait,
Just like I thought. Can't believe you're as old as you are and still don't understand how credit cards work. You used to work an actual job for God's sakes, but you quit it after getting married to me saying that you'd start a company of your own. Yet look at you. 3 years of you doing nothing with it besides making me waste my money to keep it afloat. I'm guessing that now since you've pretty much lost the company, your girlfriends have run away?
they sure as hell have. Ever since this morning, they haven't been reading any more of my text to them. They won't even answer my phone calls anymore.
Oh no.
So please, help me out. Help me and my company. Help me with my life. I figured out that you're important to me, so please, help.
I'm sorry to say this, Rick, but I don't need you in my life anymore. Goodbye, Rick. It's too late to regret all that you've done now, so stop your whining and do something with your life for once. Hey, Rosie, I'm very sorry for saying such terrible things to you before. Right now, your mother's very sad about what she's done to you, and with all of her heart is asking for you to please give her another chance. Nope. I have no need for you anymore. Don't be so cruel to me. Ever since what happened to us, I've been thinking. I think for the past few weeks, I've just been really shocked and frazzled. The divorce of you and Rick has really surprised me is the thing. I never knew about Rick being a fake that whole time, so it really caused me to rethink how I treat you. I should have been worried about you that whole time while supporting you, but instead I just continue to say some terrible things. Stop calling yourself my mom. Goodbye forever now. Wait. Please just stick with me a little longer. There are still some things I really want to talk to you about. As a way of showing my thanks to you for everything you've done for me, I've found you a new man. What? A new man? I'm sure that since the divorce, every day for you has been lonely at night, right? And what made things worse is that you were cheated on, which led to the divorce, and I'm sure you're still hurting. So your mom, in order to make you happy again, has found you a really great new man. I got you this new man in order to help heal those wounds to your heart and keep you company. I never asked for anything like that. Well, I know. But please don't be so cold about all this. I finally found you a man that will work perfectly for you. He's a little bit older than you, being in his 50s, but he's a real gentleman. He's even saying that he doesn't mind that you've been divorced before. Jesus Christ. In his 50s? He's also running his own company right now, but not like what Rick was doing. He's actually making money from his company. And he said that since you were making just as much as he is, he'd be willing to marry you. I think this man is perfect for you, and you both will get along so well. Gosh dang it, stop all that. In his 50s? He's closer in age to you than he is to me. If he's that good of a man, why don't you marry him? But he said that if he's going to get married, it's going to be with a young woman. He's told me that he really likes my character and body, but he'd much rather be married and have kids with someone who hasn't been pregnant yet. So if you're able to marry him for me, then we can all be a happy family and share. For crying out loud, enough! That guy, have you been dating him? After you told me that you were going to cut ties with me, I freaked out a little and found myself a boyfriend. But it's okay. I don't happen to need him for anything more than his money, so you guys can sleep together. I promise that as long as I get to use his money, you can do whatever you'd like with him and I won't get in your way. No. This is so messed up. This is actually beyond messed up now. This is like something that makes one need to be committed to an insane asylum. I'm disgusted by all of this. Freaking disgusted. Please don't say things like that about me, Rosie. Aren't you embarrassed to be all alone right now, having a divorce under your belt? You'll be able to get married again, and I'll be able to have my daughter back. He'll be able to marry a younger woman, and I'll be able to have his money. This all sounds like the perfect idea to me, so let's all three become one happy family. I'm blocking you. Go screw yourself. What? Rosie, you're not really blocking me, are you? Go screw yourself with a rusty pipe. What? Goodbye for frickin' ever now, you whore. Rosie! Wait, crazy? You need to help your mother out. You can't just leave me forever. Right after that, I blocked my mom's number, her email, and all of her social media accounts, and just to be sure, I changed rooms within the apartment building. I also went and explained everything to my boss about what was wrong with my mom, so that if she ever tried to find me there, the front would immediately have the security personnel walk her out and lock the doors. Thankfully, she never did end up coming to the office looking for me, but from what I was hearing about her the day I blocked her, that man went and dumped her, which has now left her searching for wherever I'm living at now, which will hopefully never work in her favor. I understand that some might feel bad for what I had to do to my mom, leaving her like that when she was at her most vulnerable, but all of you listening know the kind of monster she is, and that's all I care about. However, a lot of my friends know of my past with her as well, and the hardships I've had recently, so when she's gone to them asking for my address, they all tell her to screw off and that she deserves to be tossed away by her daughter. When it comes to what happened to Rick after all that, he ended up going back to his parents' house. But he had totally forgot about the fact that he took his parents' money in order to pay off the $30,000 debt he was in. So as they opened the door to him, they said he wasn't allowed in until he'd paid them every penny back. I never even knew about him stealing his parents' money in order to pay all the debt off, and I'm sure he was never going to tell me in order to get the $30,000 out of me, hopefully. As of right now, he lives in an old barn on someone else's property, although the owner doesn't know about it yet. And while he's been sleeping in there with the pigs, he's been working for a lawn care company under the hot sun every day trying to make money in order to pay his parents back. At least that's all I've heard about him.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.
Hey there, Bee. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be the wife of a CEO and not you. Got it? You think you're really good enough to marry Marcus? Well, you're dead wrong. I'm the only one who's good enough for him. And now that I've stolen him from you, I'll never worry about working another day in my life. Rachel, what on earth are you talking about? What is this about you stealing Marcus away from me? If this is your idea of a joke, I really don't find it funny at all, and I'd ask that you not send me this kind of stuff. Oh, it's not a joke at all, I'm afraid, but I still think it's hilarious. I'm being totally honest, however, when I say that I've stolen Marcus from you and made him mine. No, you're just a lonely girl that nobody wants, and I'm going to be the wife of a CEO. It's like a dream come true. You mean that you're really serious about all this? That's right, what can I say? I guess that Marcus just likes me more than he likes you. We spent the whole day and night together, you know. He told me that I was the girl of his dreams and that he always wanted to marry me. He told me that while he was looking into my eyes from across the table, he got us at the most expensive restaurant in town. Then he got down on one knee and proposed to me. Now that you mention it, I wasn't able to get in touch with Marcus at all yesterday. I was wondering what was going on. But you're telling me that I couldn't reach him because you two were together all day yesterday? How many times are you going to make me type out the same thing, Bee? Haven't I already made it clear to you that I've made Marcus all mine? You thought that you were going to marry him and become the wife of a CEO, but I stole him right from under you, and now I'm going to marry him instead. How does it feel to have your fiancé stolen from a fellow classmate, huh? But you don't understand. How could you do this to me, Rachel? I thought that you and I were friends. We've been so close ever since high school. I thought that I could trust you. But instead, you turned around and stole your own friend's fiancé? You're horrible, you know that? Well, this may come as news to you, but I never once considered us to be friends at all. I've actually hated you ever since the day that we met. But I could never understand how some poor ugly girl like you was chosen over me by all the boys in school. I swore to myself then that if you were ever going to get married before me, I would steal away your man before you could. You mean that this has been a plan of yours since you and I were in high school? That's crazy. You don't understand. I mean, you do know that the high school that we went to was famous for having the children of celebrities and actors and stuff go there, don't you? It wasn't a school for poor little kids like you. I don't even know how you got into the school in the first place. It was probably some charity for sad, poor people with no other means to get an education that paid for you to get in. Just because we went to the same school doesn't mean that you and I are on the same level at all. Got it? I hate when people forget their place and try to be in places where they don't belong. But I was never doing anything like that at all to begin with. And you have no idea how hard I was working in that school. I only got in because of my good grades, and I would have never been able to afford to go without the scholarship I got. But I always thought that you were the nicest person to me there. You were my best friend. And you hated me this whole time? But that's just it. You did work hard, and you were even valedictorian for our class. But before you showed up, I was the smartest kid in school. Both my parents were rich and loved me so much. All the teachers could trust me, and I was a favorite across the whole school. But all of that changed when you showed up. Just because you were the new girl who got slightly better grades than me, everyone started treating you like you were the star of the whole show. You totally eclipsed me. Well, are you really trying to blame me for how other people reacted towards me? I never asked them to treat me like that. I don't want to hear it from you. Don't tell me that a poor little nobody like you wasn't loving all of that attention. And all because you were good at studying. It isn't fair. You ruined high school for me. Do you know that? I certainly do now, and at least now I feel like I understand a bit more about why you always hated me like this. But I still don't understand why that drove you to steal my fiancé from me. I mean, we graduated from high school more than 10 years ago. Are you really still upset from then? Of course I am. You think that I ever got over a poor person like you trying to get above their post in life? And just what is that supposed to mean? I mean that no matter how hard you tried after high school, I know that you were never able to amount to anything. And no matter how smart you are now, you're still just a poor nobody. Just like your stupid, poor, ugly parents. You thought that marrying a CEO would be your ticket out of that life? Well, not if I had something to say about it. I wasn't about to let you jump ahead in life like that. It wouldn't have been fair. That's why I had to put you back in your place. And so that's the real reason why you stole Marcus from me? What are you, some kind of 1800 oil baron or something? I don't think I've ever seen classism this bold-faced in my entire life. Do you think we live in a caste system or something? What is the matter with you? It really is so easy to get poor people upset when you remind them of who they really are deep down. You really thought that you could just marry into the lap of luxury? Sorry, but that was never an option for a poor little nobody like you. It's obvious that I'm a much better person to marry Marcus given my pedigree. Your pedigree? What do you think this is, a dog show or something? Say whatever you want. It doesn't change the fact that Marcus is all mine and there's nothing that you can do about it at all. You're just mad because I took away your own shot at not being poor. Hey Marcus, are you there? Because you and I need to have a little chat. For starters, have you been seeing Rachel behind my back? I know that your parents said hi to her parents at our wedding, but I just had no idea that you would ever do something like this to me.
Wait, hold on a second. How did you find out about Rachel and I? Oh man, I thought that we had done everything to make sure that nobody was ever going to figure out about the two of us.
If you really must know, it was Rachel herself that reached out just to brag to me about how you and her are seeing each other. She even told me about how you proposed to her in a restaurant. So I would just love to hear what you have to say about all of this and just what you have to say for yourself.
Oh, what? Are you kidding me? You mean that Rachel told you all about us? What was she thinking? How could she do that to me? Oh, man. That girl can be a real firecracker sometimes. But yeah, it's true. Everything that Rachel said to you, even the part about us getting married. But you couldn't really expect this to last too long between us, right? I mean, you know that basically my whole family was against the two of us getting married.
Wait, what? What is that supposed to mean? Do you really mean that? Your family never ever wanted you and I to get married?
Of course they were opposed to you and I getting married. Open your eyes! You really think that you were ever good enough to stay married to me? You were just a poor little nobody who I took pity on. But you know that there was no way I was going to let our families merge into one, right?
Are you kidding me? You did not seriously just say that. I can't believe you, Marcus.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say. It isn't like your mom or dad is a businessman or a politician or anyone, really. They're just middle-of-the-road regular worker drones. Nobody's, really. Besides, didn't your dad get sick and have to quit his job anyways? Isn't your mom having to cut back on her hours just to take care of him? And you're doing all the heavy lifting for your family, and you're not anyone either.
Don't you talk about my parents like that, Marcus, and just because my dad is sick doesn't mean that you can put him down for it. Besides, it's thanks to their hard work that I was able to afford to go to college. I owe so much to them, and nothing is ever going to take that away.
Don't get me wrong, I really do respect you as a person, Bea. You got into one of the top schools in the country, and I think that's really something. But we just come from two different worlds. Besides, my whole future depends on me taking over the family company, so I really can't go against what my family wants, or else I'm down for.
Well, then why were we even together in the first place? If this is really how you felt about things, we should have never been dating in the first place. I never asked you to go and cheat on my classmate.
You really are starting to get annoying. Do you know that? I'm telling you why I made my decision. You can like it or not, but don't go trying to make this personal or anything. It's just business.
Business? Are you seriously calling this business? You think that I'm going to buy that, you jerk?
Look, the thing is, I actually really like smart girls like you, okay? But there are things about you that I just can't stand by either. For one, you're a little too smart. Maybe even smarter than me, and that's a huge turnoff. I do like smart girls, but being with you made me realize it's better to be with an airhead like Rachel instead. It's just way easier to get her to do what I want than it was with you.
Please tell me that that is not how you actually feel about dating women. That is just disgusting. Rachel is like some kind of avatar of classism, and you're just a horrible sexist. Maybe you two do deserve each other.
It's not sexist, it's just knowing what my preferences are, okay? If you really want to know, the last straw for you was when I had to make that presentation for work. I was struggling with it for so long that I finally asked you to take a look, and you basically did it for me all in the span of 20 minutes. I felt completely humiliated. So between my parents not wanting me to marry you and you being too smart for your own good, this is what's for the best. Not to mention that honestly, Rachel is way prettier than you are anyways, so I don't think you could really blame me for wanting to get with her.
So basically, I just have nothing to offer you at all, is what you're saying then.
I mean, in a word, yeah, pretty much. Who ever heard of a man marrying a woman smarter than them? You'd have to be a real moron to do that. Anyways, just accept that this has happened and move on with your life, okay?
Hey, B, I was just curious if you got the invitation to our wedding. I know that you know how much I hate you, but we still have to keep up appearances, you know. I invited everyone from high school, so I had to invite you too, or else people would start to ask questions. You know, you haven't said one word to hint at all that you're sorry for what you did to me. Not only that, but you have the gall to invite me to your wedding? Come on, don't be such a sourpuss. Consider this a way to put this all behind us, okay? I invited you to the wedding for your own sake. My own sake? Just how do you figure that? Oh, come on. Clearly you're still upset about the breakup, and you must still be getting over your feelings for Marcus. So you can come to the wedding, see Marcus and I kiss and get married, and then maybe that'll shock you out of this mood. Are you kidding me? Is that why you want me to show up to your wedding? Well, I also think that you'd really enjoy it. It's going to be a huge venue and cost a ton of money. There are going to be all kinds of industrialists and famous people, and I mean, well, you're so poor that this is probably going to be your one chance to see something like this. Although I understand that you might just grow to hate yourself surrounded by so much success, too. You have seriously got some nerve inviting me to your wedding just so that you can keep trying to rub your wealth in my face. Do you know that? Well, if it helps sweeten the deal, we're having the wedding catered by a Michelin-starred chef, and the decorations are going to be to die for. Not only that, but I'm having a really famous fashion designer come out of retirement just to put my wedding dress together. It sounds like it's going to be quite the event. Are you sure someone like me can go? Well, at first I was going to have something a little more low-key, but then I thought about it and realized that I'm about to marry a future CEO, and there's no point in being modest. So I decided it would be better to go all out instead, and Marcus's parents seemed to be happy with my place, so it's all good. Well, I'm really happy that you and his parents are getting along so well. I guess they must feel more at ease talking to you than they were talking to poor old me. Exactly. In fact, they like me so much that Marcus's dad agreed to pay for the whole thing. It's going to cost at least $1 million. You're going to spend $1 million on your wedding? That's insane. Are you sure that's really such a good idea? No duh, it's a good idea. It's a great idea, in fact. Why would you even ask something like that? Or is it just that your poor brain can't even calculate how someone could spend that much and still have more money? Yeah, it must be something like that, Rachel. Well, that's okay. I can't expect you to begin to even visualize what $1 million looks like. Yeah, I wonder if your father-in-law will be able to soon, given that he's been arrested. Sorry, what do you mean by that? Haven't you heard the news? You might want to look up his name on Google right now. He's been showing up in headlines ever since last night for what he did, so I might be a bit worried for what that would mean for your wedding. Wait, hold on. Marcus's dad has been arrested? Sounds like you have a lot to think about. Maybe I'll just leave you alone for now. But if you really want to know, I don't want to go to your wedding at all. But you did such a good job selling it to me that I think I'll show up anyways. Wait, no, hold on. You can't just drop a bombshell on me like that and then just try and walk away. What are you talking about with Marcus's dad? What happened? You have to tell me. I told you, you can just look it up online. There are plenty of stories about it online. Just look up his name and investment fraud. Wait, you mean that he's been arrested for fraud? He defrauded his own investors? Yeah, he took a bunch of people's money and wasted it on a scheme that he knew was going to fail. Then he tried to launder the money to other sources, and that's when he got caught. I guess someone must have leaked some evidence of what was going on. No, this can't be happening. I had no idea about any sort of scam. This can't be right. Well, you might want to go ahead and tell the news stations that they got it wrong because you never heard of any of this. Anyway, what was that chef going to cook for the wedding again? This isn't the time to be talking about that. Now, I don't even know if I'll have a wedding at this point. But I already sent out the invitations. I was so looking forward to it. This can't be happening to me. Well, I suppose you might just have to tell people that there's been a change of plans and cancel it for now. B, it's just awful. We had to cancel my wedding. Can you believe it? This wasn't supposed to happen. What is going on? So you did end up canceling it after all. Aw, darn. And I was just starting to get excited to go. But don't worry. I'm sure you'll be able to plan a new one when things settle down. Then you can have your fancy chef and decorations and everything. What are you talking about? There's no way that we're ever going to be able to have the wedding again because the engagement is off. We're not even married and we're already divorced. Wait, what? He's not going to marry you anymore? No, I broke up with him. I could never let my family be associated with his criminal father. Just think of the damage it would do to my family's reputation. I can't possibly let my good bloodline be tainted with his bile, so I told him to hit the road. But now Marcus is refusing to sign the paperwork so that we can call it all off. I see. Yeah, I guess I would be pretty mad too if someone just tried to run off like you're doing. But you need to help me. You have to convince Marcus to formally call off the engagement with me. Sorry, you want me to help you? Are you serious? That's right. He said that he's not going to let me get out of this so easily. And if he doesn't sign the paperwork, then we're not going to be able to officially call off our engagement. You have to think of something and help me out here. You can't be serious, right? You're really asking for my help? Please, maybe you can try and charm him back to liking you. You know all his weak spots and what he likes. I'm sure that if anyone could help me out here, it's you. Plus, you get your fiancé back. It's a win-win. I don't want anything to do with him or you or either of your families ever again. You'll just have to find someone else to do your dirty work for you, but not me. Why don't you go and ask one of your rich friends to do it for you, huh? You don't think I've already thought of that? I called them all and asked for their help, but no one said they would. Some of them had even changed their number, and I can't get a hold of them. Well, then it sounds to me like they just plain don't want to help you. But I have no problem getting a hold of anyone from our school days. Maybe they just saw the news about your father-in-law and didn't want to be associated with you. You're kidding me. You mean you think that all our old friends are just avoiding me? But they're not afraid to stay in contact with some poor little nobody like you. I guess maybe they just don't care as much about how much money I have. You're the only one who seems to treat anyone as poorly as you do just because of their status. Anyways, good luck with your marriage troubles.
Bea, are you there? Please, you have to help me. You have to save me from Rachel. She's crazy, and you're the only one that I can go for help.
What on earth are you talking about, Marcus? I know that your dad is in hot water, but it's times like these that should push you closer to your wife. Go to her for help, not me, okay?
But I don't want anything to do with that moron. She is seriously so dumb and is only interested in trying to run away from me. Even though I'm trying so hard to protect all the family has worked for, she can only think for herself.
There you go again, just calling her an idiot again, huh? But I thought you liked your girls dumb.
Yeah, but not this dumb. I had no idea you could even get this dumb. But I've had my hands so full trying to save the family's business that I barely have time to deal with her anymore. I don't know what's going to break first, my company or my mental state.
Yeah, I've been following the news. It seems like you and your family are going to be in quite a bit of trouble.
But that's why I need your help. But please, I know that you're smarter than me. Maybe if you took a look at some of the papers I have, you could figure out a way to save my company from all this. But please, I need you.
Yeah, that is going to be a no from me. You cheat on me, ruin our engagement, call me too smart, and say that I'm uglier than Rachel, and you think I want to help you? Don't even get me started on what you said about my family, too. This is not my problem, and I refuse to let you or Rachel suck me into this. After that, I heard on the news that Marcus's family company finally declared bankruptcy and that Marcus was attempting to build something from the ashes. But the attempt didn't go so well, and like before, it was swimming in debt before declaring bankruptcy again. Rachel ran to her parents to try and beg for help, but they had both thought that they'd finally gotten rid of her and told her that she was Marcus's problem now. With his dad in jail and 2 bankruptcies, Marcus and Rachel agreed to move in together until they could work something better out for the two of them. They still aren't married, but they realize that they both have no one to turn to except for each other.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.